so we've got a knock in the suspension at the back, and that little cup at the very back in the back is, I wouldn't say it's loose, but it's it moves when I jump up and down. I'm thinking if I take out this heater blower and stuff here, it might give me enough room to at least not swear my ass off trying to undo it all. And I'm hoping I can tighten it up in there, but it does feel very tight, that nut, so I don't know whether it's loose or whether it's a broken suspension or so. I don't know, but I'm going to try to tighten it here. But okay, so we're going to I'll give it a bit of a quick overview. These two bolts are coming out, these two connectors are coming off. This black bit is popping straight up. I think it just wobbles up, and then around here probably these are coming off, I would say, just without these bangers. And there's a bolt around the side there, which mine is missing down here, and there's also one underneath, and I think that's about it, believe it or not. So I'm just going to do it one by one. So let's just start. Let's squish this little wire in here and just pop that off. Squish this little wire in under here and pop that off gently. Bang, that comes off. Now this apparently just wiggles up or pushes on a tab underneath, or let's have a look. So there's a tab right underneath the bottom there. There we go. I'll do it side on, so you can see the little. There's a little like wedgie thing there. You push open and it slides off. Slides off that bracket. So that's off. Going to use a 10mm to take these two off, and then I think I can just pull that off. Let's just go there. These two screws I reckon are a bit dodgy because they seem to screw just into plastic, so when tightening them back up, I'm not sure how tight you do them without stripping them, or I'm not sure to do them firm, I guess, but let me just get these butt puppers off. Okay, so they're off. So this, I think, just in the last video, so we just pulled out. Oh. Pulled out, you can see the screws there. They're like little plastic lumpy bits they screw into. So seems all plastic there, so you know, just careful when you're screwing back in, you don't burr them. I reckon they've sort of been a bit stripped a bit here. Let's just sit that over there in the way. Okay, so now I think I've got these two bangers, which take a Phillips or a flathead, but also a 7mm socket. So I'm going to do that, and then I can at least move this out of the way. I'm not sure, but maybe this hose down here might unplug. I'm not sure, but I'll just get to that. Leave this bottom bit sort of connected. I don't need to, I think it just pulls out, but I'm going to leave it in there at the minute and see if I can get the motor out past it if I just tilt it back, as I don't need to take it down. I can't really see well down in there. I think it just slots in and pulls out, but I can't bother trying to force it back in or get it back in if I don't have to. So I'm going to continue on with this piece roughly loose but in place, and see if I can access this without pulling it out. Okay, I found the nut underneath at the back. I'm just sort of showing relative to where the thing is, where you can feel for it. It's down there. So it's just like a hand, just down there to the right. I think there's another one doing something anyway. Let's see what comes out. Okay, that's what's come out of the back one. Not a massive bolt. I thought it was going to be longer, to be honest, but so just pulled out. I'm not sure what the nut end on the other side is. Well, okay, I think I just removed the vacuum line from under, from under here, on this bit I've taken off, and then I think we can just remove it. So let's just pop that out without cracking anything, and then see if we can take this unit out while leaving this bit in. And that is out. The only thing I did do, which I pointed out at the start but didn't actually show them, is unclipped this from the blower motor at the back, which is down the side, just the power tool, which I squeeze the tabs together. But that's giving me a bit better access down the back. So So this thing just pulled out. It's got one of these it's got one of these things at the bottom of it down there. Let's have a look. But I don't think it's that tight. It just sat there. It just sat in there. Have a look inside. There's a spring, like must be some sort of resistor or a heat spring of some sort. Don't know if you got it open, have a check. That looks in pretty good nick. Some sort of temperature sensing thing. I don't know. Can't bother googling what it is. But I'll tell you what. Have a look down here. Let me do my little zoom in. Look what I found, a little Easter egg. Right there. Found that, which was off my other part of the heater at the top. So I have to Google how it all goes back in. I thought there was a nut. I've seen a video with a nut, but that should hopefully. So the thread might be damaged on it or something. Might be something I won't play with. Oh, maybe I will. Anyway, not sure. Not gonna look. It's survived quite well without it in there. I'm not gonna break stuff or crack stuff, but that should, I think, go in there. I've seen some video where there's a nut, hex nut sort of thing that sits there. But I'll try to see if I look down and see if I can find that. Okay, well, it's up on the hoist. Finally ordered one and got it up, which makes life a bit easier to get in under to the suspension. So I'm going to, I'd really never done this, but undo the there are four, I'll call them white, but silver bolts, nuts around the upper of the coilovers. You can see 1, 2, 3, and there's one just behind there. I'll undo those slowly, a bit at a time on each one, and just make sure there's nothing untoward going on, and hopefully lower it out, and then hopefully I can tighten that nut on the top. Or hopefully it's just a loose nut or something. I can't tighten it from here or get the angle on it. Yeah, hopefully it's not too bad. I don't know what the torque specs are on these nuts, but I've literally gone in here with a 13mm and used my fingertips and turned it. So on all four. Now I don't know whether that's where it's going to be. I'll get some specs and some torques and see where we go, but that was literally finger tight. That looks easier to get it off, I reckon. So that one, I think, and then there's a bolt around underneath here, and I'll undo those, and oh fuck, see where we get to. Okay, so I've taken the swing arm bolt out, and this one, it took me ages to realise that there's like a star, or for want of a better, a hex bolt in there. You know, we've got to hold the end of a bit like the top of the suspension. Hold the bolt and turn the nuts. It took me a while to work out how to stop the bolt from spinning, because the nut and the bolt were spinning together. But anyway, so I've left a couple of bolts at the top of the shock up here. A couple of bolts are in at the top. I've taken a bit of the weight off. Got just taken the weight off it. I don't think this is under load. I don't think this is really under much load, because I can sort of almost move it up and down a bit. So I'm hoping once I tap that bolt out, it doesn't all just self-destruct and pop out at any sort of pressure. But the spring's up. I can pretty much, you know, there's no real pressure on the spring, so there's not much. If there's any sort of pressure on here, but I don't think there's much. It's tapping out pretty easy. This has been tagged. It's like your tow-in thing, I think, on your car. That's already been tagged by someone else, so I'm going to make sure that lines up at the end just in case something moves. Don't think it should or would, but yeah, I'm just going to tap that bolt out from the finger from that bit. I'm going to tap it through, and hopefully, I don't know, fucking shit. Sorry, hopefully stuff doesn't break. But you know, if I break something, then someone out there will learn something, I guess. So, okay. Alright, now that I'm done, I'm going to go through everything I did to get it out with, which wasn't much at all. I loosened the 4 nuts at the top of the shock from the engine bay, and just left like one in there or something just so it didn't fall. I have taken this out on the sway bar, took that off. I undid the bolt first, undid this nut here. I had to use one of those bangers in the end of it as well, so it's a two-hand job to stop the shaft spinning while you undid the nut. But took that off. I didn't then bang that out yet. You think, oh, I'll bang it out and I'll just rip the shocker off too hard. It's really easy. You got 2 bolts here, one here, and one to get loose in the sway bar, and that gives you enough to get this out. Once again, I think you have to hold the bolt inside on the other end to get it out. I can't. No, you don't. You still got to undo that one. Sorry. And then you think it's going to hit here. I raised the engine about 1/2 centimetre just to get it out, but on putting it back in, I didn't have to raise the engine. So I think when you try to get it out, it looks like it hits, but if you give it a bit of a jiggle and a wiggle and a biggle, it comes out. Otherwise, raise the engine 1 centimetre if you have to. Just give it a bit of a lift on there, and it jiggles out. And then this bar comes out, comes off completely, and then your shocker can come out. Job done. Okay, so I'm taking it out. And I think I've found the problem. I released this spring. I loosened the tension on the preload on it just while I was in the car to just problem solve stuff. But the issue is that has totally come away. The shock itself seems to be okay, still holds pressure. It doesn't look bent or anything, so I think the shock's okay. But I don't know about in there. I'm not sure about what that's meant to look like or how to clean that up, but there is. Can I get some out? Now I'm going to assume that's the, I don't know much about coilovers, I'm new to them, but like the bump stop or something is like disintegrated. Don't know, I know the guy that ran this car ran it very low, and I got a feeling it somehow destroyed that, and I think, I don't know if there's any damage on the bottom of it, but I just think it's been, don't know, no idea. So I've rung Sydney shock absorbers. I rang MCA in Queensland, I think, and they put me onto Sydney shock absorbers in Sydney, who deal with Bilsteins. So I'm going to send it off to them and see if they can repair it or fix it or do something. They seem like they can, or it's a potential, but I don't know if that's a catastrophic failure or not. But I do know that this knob here always spun all the way around, so there was always something slightly wrong with this shock, but I think it's just basically seen and stay in its current state. So anyway, we'll send it off and see if they can fix it up for us. Like I said, it looks like it's an alright nick still, but who knows. Alright, it is back. Hopefully all the parts that I sent with it are in it. Okay, it's come back from Bilstein pretty much how I sent it, except in one piece. So I'm just going to undo the nut at the end here. So I'm going to hold that with a Allen key. I think it's not a 7mm. It is I think it's even not metric. The 6mm was too short, and so I think it's like maybe it's a 1/4. I thought it'd be metric. I don't know, but for me, I find the one that fits yours, but it was bigger than a 6 and smaller than a 7mm. So anyway, I originally couldn't take this off, but the guy from Bilstein said, the tech guys up there said this only needs to be not finger tight, but just hand tight. It doesn't need any special torque specs. It just has to be tight, but nothing special. So when I went to loosen it, it actually loosened very easily back from their factory. So anyway, find the torque specs, do what you want. There is a manual somewhere where you can get the torque on it. But I've been told by the tech that it can just be, spanner tight. Okay, so I think I know what I'm going to do. I'll just go with the plan, but I think I will have to put it in and tighten it once it's in the car, because I can't see how I'm going to align this with the holes at the top if it's fixed. So I'm just going to follow my nose, see what comes out the other end. Okay, so that is all the way down. Just as a test, I will sit that there. I will sit you there. I will sit you sit that there. So with the spring on and it just push fit. Tiny little gap there. Pretty much the same. So the spring doesn't stop me from putting that all the way down, which means that I can tighten it tight once it's in the car, and then I'll tighten the spring up once it's in the car and put tension on it. So that is good news. It's a win for the people. Let me hang on. Okay, yeah, is that sort of in?
Yeah, it's only like a centimetre out in.
Yeah, you've got to tighten up a few of them, and then can you like do a few turns on it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got 3 of the nuts in and one wasn't really sticking up, so I've got a little ratchet in here and just gently doing it. It's not pretty easy pressure, so I'm not bending or anything because it's coming up, it's tightening pretty easily. It seems to be pulling that far nut into place, which is really good. So now I should be able to get this nut on the back on this puppy, hey? Slowly tightening up the 4 nuts down here, the back here. 3 I got on with hand, I got my son to put 3 on with hand, and the 4th one down the back. I'm slowly tightening the 3, and that's come up enough for me to tighten that one as well. So I'm just not forcing anything, nothing's too hard to tighten. So yeah, at the moment coming together okay. Okay, so the 4 nuts are tightened down the back. You can only see probably 2 of them just there, but on the other side, the one in the middle I haven't tightened yet. I am going to, now that it's in here, I'm going to just connect it all up, then I'll tighten that middle nut, and then I will tighten up my spring. Let's see how we go. Going reverse order. Going to put this puppy back in first, so I guess I'm going to feed that in there, hook that up under here. Then I will put my adjusting nut back in and just raise the engine just a tad just to get it past that here. I don't know if everyone has a dint there, but I think this might have come out before because there's a dint there where that helps to get it out. Looks like it's not going to come out, and then it comes out. Then I will tighten up the sway bar, tighten up that sway bar just there, reconnect the sway bar. I think we're almost there. All right, let's try it out. And then tightening my spring, and I think we're there. All right, so got it all the way through now. Just wiggled it through, and basically the other end that's just sitting loosely in there, and I'll just tap that in, and then I'll get that bolt in next. Got the sway bar one just inserted, not sure what to do first or thing, and I've still got to tighten that one up, but I'll just do one at a time, see how we go. All right, I'm just going to tap this. Back in. Got our bolt here. It's been marked. It's been marked up here where it's got to line up with. And it has this washer on the other side. So basically a bolt going in there, washer going on the other side. Let's to get this bolt in, we had to loosen the sway bar to get a bit of space, just so I could get it into here. And it also hits this, and so I've got to raise the engine, and we're talking half a centimetre, I think, from taking it out of camera. It wasn't much at all, and it even looked like it was still not going to come out, and then the bolt just fell out. So I'm not going to raise it this time. Let's knock this back in properly first. Hang on. Look in there. Pretty close. Now we're going to try to get this bolt in past this heat exchanger. As you can see, I just can't. It's close. Look how close it is. It's very close. Oh, there you go. Oh, now my sway bar's in the way. So maybe I didn't have to raise the engine in the end. This has got a little. It might have been done before. I don't know if it's by design. It's got a little dent recess in here that allows the bolt to come out. So I don't think I've got any height on the engine. No, none. Okay, so I probably didn't need to raise the engine. I raised it like a tiny bit. Now I'm going to line this mark up here. Going to get this washer, put it on the other side. Okay, so got that lined up with the mark. I can move my camera around the other side. Sorry, it's not that greatest shots. I can't even see, but there's a washer there. Gonna get my nut. All right, so I've got that pretty much lined up. So now I think I just got to put back in my sway bar here. Seems a bit easy. This is already things. I might push that through and get that lightly bolted on first. Get that bolted on first. I might get all the nuts on loose first. And then I've got this nut under here on the other side of that to do. Yeah, the other side of that there's a nut going. And I think it's done. Oh, and then I've got to tighten my thing up. 12.5 turns. I've got to get that turned up. But okay, so I purchased this nut that was missing. This bolt and nut was missing from here, but I found the bolt down the bottom, down there. And I ordered this nut. It cost me like $8 or something, but it cost me about $20 to get it shipped here. So anyway, it's weird because it's got a thread on it, which means that this bolt screws onto it, which means that by tightening the bolt, I tighten the nut to the heater. But I think what it's meant to do is tighten the bolt to the engine. So I'm gonna. It's weird. I don't know why it's threaded. Like I thought it would be just a loose thing, but it's actually threaded. So anyway, I'm going to see how it goes. But I think I'm going to use it just to add a bit of tension for the bolt into the engine block, because the other way seems pointless. Anyway, I'll see how it goes.